Clue, what we doing here? What we doing here, Clue? What we doing here? Let's see what we're doing here.
What we doing here? Subscribe, firstly.
Subscribe to Clue. Great content recently.
The penny dropped. The penny dropped. It's official. I'm a content creator. And being a content creator comes with all sorts of disrespect, all sorts of challenges, all sorts of name calling, all sorts of foul play. But it's a part of the job. And I say the job because we get paid from it. But if there's something that I don't like, it's content creators that paint narratives on people but don't want to stand on their 10, bro. What are we doing here? Shout out to brother Tankz, for example. Yeah? Subscribers, all sorts of views, all sorts of content. Salute, bro. I see Tankz say, when he was talking about Unknown T's chain, what did he say to Unknown T's face? He basically said Unknown T was crying over his chain being taken. Remember, it got seized one time. Tankz replied, I wouldn't say it to his face. It's over, buddy. Tankz then went on to say,
it's not over, buddy.
If I saw Unknown T and he was to mention it to me, I would probably tell him that was wrong of me to say that.
Yeah.
It's over, buddy.
Because that's what I think. After some reflection, that's what I thought, Clue. Let's give a little bit of context for this one, guys, all right? So pretty much this is the video. It's on 82,000 views, you know, big number of views. Clue's not wrong. It's got a lot of views. But Clue watched this Trap Law Ross doubles down on DJ Vlad about Central C video. Because in that video, I bring this up. You know, I bring it up because I'm pretty much, I don't agree. In the thumbnail, you can see I don't agree, you know what I mean, with the whole Trap Law Ross situation and YBs. Even though Trap Law Ross is the homie, as he would say, you know, bucked him in LA, you know, he's been to the studio. But if I disagree with something, bro, I can't just hide what I'm feeling, you know what I mean? But what's it called? Where was I? So in this video, I'd already pre-recorded the video, you know. If you watch the entirety of the video, I talk as if the police are the ones in the wrong for taking Unknown T's chain. Because that's what I was thinking. It was late at night. Not that that's an excuse. Not that that's an excuse. But as I'm about to render the video on Premiere Pro and Clue, take note as well. You might want to get familiar with Premiere Pro as you like level up the content. You know what I mean? Because in this content game, you want to keep on improving, keep leveling up, keep trying to change things, you know, keep innovating. Yeah, as it's rendering, I noticed this on the chain. And I'm like, what? That looks like, you know, switch, like, you know, something to flick a blade down with. And then I find this Instagram video. I don't want to play because it's a little bit loud, but it's an Instagram video where you can clearly see the chain functioning as a flick knife. Look at that. In and out, in and out. I say in the video, listen, we don't know if it's plastic, whatever, might have been plastic, maybe not. And Unknown T's chain, it's a £250,000 chain or $250,000 chain that was seized from him at Gatwick Airport, I believe, if I remember correctly. And here's what I say where it's like, you know, said I was crying. Well, I said he was crying. Bro, that's like having a flick knife. Flicks down. Let me go. I need to understand, this is my live reaction. You know what I mean? Usually for my videos, I'll do a tiny little bit of research, or sometimes I'll just, most times I'll just do the research live and then crop it up. But in this case, this is my initial reaction. And I'm confused because obviously Unknown T's pissed off that his chain got took. But I was thinking like, this is my initial reaction. I'm like, bro, are you surprised your chain got taken at Gatwick Airport? When it's a flick blade, you know, and I say this, it's literally you're flexing it on the gram. Now, do I think A Jewelers would be stupid enough to? I don't know, probably not, because the community gives these guys a lot of money, so hopefully not. But in the video, you're there crying, bro, like, oh man, what are they talking about? Offensive weapon, man. Oh, it's my chain. It's like, brother, it's like there are laws, bro. You can't bring. And this is my initial shock. You know what I mean? And I'm somebody. Listen, I'm very considerate to how what I say online can make other people feel, you know, because I live in London, you know what I mean? I fuck with Unknown T's music. Why would I want to start a problem with the guy? You know what I mean? At this point, I was just rushing, trying to get this video out and go home and express myself here. That's what I was trying to do. And even like 10 minutes after that, my brethren even called me up and said, yo, you were a little bit like, you shouldn't have said the crime thing in that Unknown T vid. And then I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have said it, bro, you know, but video's out there, you know, is what it is, you know, the video's out there. If I run into him, I'll just, you know, at the time, I'm like, if I ever run into Unknown T and I'll show him it's not really that. Because even a couple of days after this was 5 months ago, bro. A couple of days after that, there was some news about Unknown T because some crazy allegations were put on Unknown T's name, some crazy allegations. And I even DM'd him before I posted my video on that, which was very fair, by the way. I don't know if he's seen the DM on Instagram. I don't know if he was pissed off with what I said at the time, but I sent him a message saying, bro, I know you've got your chain got seized by the police. I know this news coming out. There's no evidence. Like, this will blow over, bro. Like, in a few weeks, like, people aren't even going to remember this. Like, just focus on the music. I sent him a message like that. Don't know if he's seen it at the time, but after that, I went on to Winners Talking podcast after that. And on Winners Talking podcast, they brought that up. They said, the crying thing, and that was like the second time that's been brought up, and I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I take accountability. I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I explain that usually I crop things out because I consider people's feelings, because I express how I feel when I record my videos, but at the same time, you've also got to be considerate of other people's feelings. And that was one thing during my creative process. When I was rushing, it slipped through the cracks. That's literally it. And even if I show you guys Twitter here, on Twitter, Unknown T, we follow each other on Twitter now, because if I go back, I've got to try and find that tweet. One sec. Yeah, here's the tweet. No one else reported this except for UK Hip Hop Daily, but on October 25th, when Unknown T got his chain back, I quote tweeted it saying, Unknown T got his chain back. Prayers. And Unknown T, he liked the tweet and he followed me on Twitter. So I don't believe there's a problem. But if I were to run into Unknown T, there's no agenda against him. I don't know the guy. I think he's a very talented drill artist and I like his music. And that was just something that slipped through the cracks. My intention was not to violate. Took accountability publicly, like twice, about it. So yeah, if I ran into Unknown T, I'd go up to him, I'd tell him who I am. And if he had a problem with what I said, I would say to him, yes, I shouldn't have said that, because I don't think I should have said that. Are we not allowed to take accountability? It's not like I intended to violate. It's not like my intention. It's different if my intentions were to violate or take the piss, and then I buck into him in person, and then it's like, oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. It's not like that, bro, because there's quite a few rappers on here who, if I buck them in person, there's things I've said online that I stand on. Yeah, I said them things. There's some rappers I've said things online about who have made it clear we've spoken, and it's like, yeah, it's not a problem. It's fine. I live in London, bro. Just don't let the mask think like we're hiding. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. But let's go back to Clue's video.
So I just want to know.
But I hear where he's coming from at the same time. I hear where Clue's coming from. I don't know if that added context will change anything. You know what I mean? But hey.
What we doing here? Now, yes, I get it. I don't expect content creators to be some sort of gangsters. But bro.
Nah, but whatever you say online, bro, just be prepared to deal with it in the real world. You know what I mean? Because it's not a thing where if I bucked into someone who I've spoken online about and they're unhappy and it gets heated, I'm going to call the police. I'm not going to do that, because that's not what I do. That's not, most of the people around me would not talk to me again if I did that. You know what I mean? We don't abide by them things there. So it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know what he's getting at. I hear what he's getting at here, but at the same time, it's like, Clue, it was a mistake. I take accountability for the mistake. My actions show that I didn't mean that. The guys followed me. There's no issue, bro.
If you're going to talk about somebody, bro, and you know they are not going to like what you say on them, what do you expect them to do if they see you, bro?
Well, it's different. It's the way I frame that one, because, yeah, I shouldn't have said crying. It's just the word crying. But at the same time, if you've got a chain like that with a flick blade in it, why are you surprised that the chain's been taken at an airport? Yeah, that is something. I mean, it would be stupid if it's like, say it to my face. That's some dumb secondary school shit. But yeah, I stand on that. It's just the crying thing. It's just the way that the crying could be interpreted like I'm trying to violate. You know what I mean? Because I have strong opinions. I'm not afraid to give my opinion. I'll always give my opinion. But I'm not trying to violate anyone. I'm not trying to violate.
Because otherwise, why talk on them in the first?
Unless I intentionally want to violate. I mean, it's been a year now since I made that video about that irrelevant scam rapper who tried to charge me, tried to quote me 15 bags for a feature. Then when I aired him, he tried to say, oh, I told him 15 bags and he didn't reply. Yeah, I made like a 12-minute video violating him. If I see him, it's the same shit. I don't care. You know what I mean? The intention's there with that one. I'm not going to back down on what I've said for that one, Clue. You You know what I mean? Don't try and wrap me into the Traplow Ross rolling with security and saying, oh, say it to my, like, nah, but it's not that thing, Clue, bro. It's not that, bro. It's not that, man.
So you're really just doing it for the views, for the monetization, for the money, which means you're taking liberties, bad man.
I'm giving my opinion. I'm not taking no liberties, bro. I'm giving my opinion, but this is just with the added context, bro.
So disrespect for all sorts of quids. Tankz, talk to me, bro. Tell me this ain't the case.
I do not disrespect people I do not expect to have an issue with in real life online for all sorts of quids. If I disrespect someone online, it's because it's personal. I mean it. I am how I am online. That's how I am in person, bro. That is Tankz, same in person, Clue, right?
This ain't the path. But then in another breath, you're talking about when you was on Spray Show, a couple of your peoples and your folks were shouting you like, where's the Addy? What we doing there?
Yeah.
I can't believe what's going on.
What do you mean you can't believe it? Doesn't mean I'm on that type of timing, but a lot of people around me are on that type of timing. My phone was blowing off from people who ain't called me in time, saying, what's the angle with this guy, because of how it looked online, bro. When I explained to them, even after this is how mad the internet is, even after I explained to them afterwards, I explained to them what's gone on, guys are still like, nah, this guy's selected because they're just going on what they've seen online. But what they're not understanding is, bro, in that situation, I had no clue, no pun intended. It was a misunderstanding. And Spray was showing me love before I even met him. Before we started recording the podcast, it was all love. You know what I mean? And I was confused. And Spray, even he didn't even want to release it. Spray didn't even want to release that podcast. I'm the one who came back to the studio, live stream, talked about it, hyped it up, and then Spray released it. Spray didn't even want to release it. On God, he didn't want to release it, bro. You know what I mean? Even when we were talking outside on the break, face to face, I'm looking him in the eye. I did not know this. If I knew that, once they told me the context outside, I said, look them in the eye. If I knew that, I would tell you right now. Because I stand on what I say, Clue. That's the type of person that I am. My word is everything, bro. I live by my word. As a man, if your word's worthless, what are you, bro? But Clue don't know me, man. Clue don't know me. But maybe if I was at the Fumes thing, or maybe if we did that football show, you know what I mean? You'd see the real me, bro. You'd know this is not me, bro.
So I'm starting to realize content creators are some idiots.
Okay.
Respectfully. It's crazy. And there I go.
Idiots for taking accountability and being willing to use your words. You know, I'd assume, there's a lot, guys, I'm not saying you, but like a lot of guys on the roads, things like that came up like that, you know, who are still on that. It's a high school mentality, bro. You know, if this is in high school, I get it. But as grown adults, before it gets cracking, do we want to make sure we understand what's going on here? You know what I mean? Sometimes, but there's some people out there who don't want to do talking. I very much understand that. Very much get that.
Walking down all sorts of paths, thinking all sorts of things about growth, supporting the culture, to realize I'm in a room full of idiots. Respectfully. And I say respectfully because, bro, I ain't got no issues with none of you lot. I'm starting to understand this content thing. It's just disappointing that as a man, you're going to say something on your camera.
I'd like, Clue, given this context, I would appreciate if you took back calling me an idiot. Because I'm not an idiot, bro. I'm far from an idiot, bro. I'm half your age. Like, I'm not that that has anything to do with it, but I'm half my age doing things. You know what I mean? In here, have my own space and shit like that. You know what I mean? All set up and shit. You know what I mean? I'm not an idiot. I got a uni degree. Far from an idiot. I got plaques, all sorts of plaques with all sorts of numbers, bro. I'm due 100 million plaque, bro. You know what I mean? I'm far from an idiot, bro. Come on.
About somebody, but they're not stand on your 10 if you see them. Cower down. I shouldn't have said that. So why say it in the first place?
Well, if it's a misunderstanding, you know, you know what? Maybe this doesn't happen a lot for other people. I'm not trying to use autism as an excuse, but this might be a way to get Clue to hear more where I'm coming from. Because Clue made a video, and I've been watching Clue's content recently. You know, when the drama dies down, that's when you're getting good content, because that's when it's easy to get views when there's drama, but can you get the views when there's no drama? Clue made a video that was great, bringing awareness to autism, where he spoke about how his daughter has autism, you know, and it's bringing awareness to it. It's making more people understand. I have autism, Clue. I'm more on the high functioning end. I have something called Asperger's syndrome, but they don't call it Asperger's syndrome because apparently he was a Nazi doctor or something like that. But the way I am, the way my mind works, I live with it. I don't want no sympathy. But for me, I have to think more than the average person, because I'm not good at picking up on social cues. Might come off as rude sometimes, rarely, very, very rarely. But in this case, where I'm shocked, I've just seen the blade on the chain. I'm thinking, how can you be surprised that that's been confiscated at the airport? I'm rushing. I need to go. Don't know if it was don't know what I needed to go for, but it was probably something more fun than sitting here. That happened. It was a mistake, you know, and I took accountability for it. What more could I have done? Like, take down the video of unknown T, message me about it. Like, then, you know what I mean? Billy Billions, his brethren, Billy Billions. Not that this has anything to do with it, but I've been fighting. I've been like, you know, making videos, bringing awareness to the fact that Billy Billions is in jail when the police fabricated evidence. Do I think he's an angel? No, but this is a miscarriage of justice, what it seems to me. Should be an easy appeal for Billy. You know what I mean? I'm here for what's right and wrong. That's what I'm here for, bro.
Ask yourself that.
And I have no problem taking accountability, bro. With the Sam Ham, with Sam Ham, if you guys remember that, I took accountability. It took longer than it should have. I was a little bit stubborn with that one, but I took accountability, bro.
So, buddy, I see Trap Lord Ross in all sorts of America, talking about all sorts of UK artists. And I'm trying to think, is he shedding light on our scene? Is it a good thing? Or is he disrespecting the scene? Because you in Central C, I don't know what's going on there, buddy, but we've all seen you in action, bro. And shout out Trap Lord Ross. All sorts of subscribers, all sorts of views, traveling all sorts of places. Salute. But again, bro, you was talking like you was with it.
And he's talking about security and that. And Clue, again, I don't know if I said this already, but I would have appreciated if you separated me from this, you know, because in the video of mine that you watched, I make it very clear. I have the same view on this that you do. How your opinion on this, even though Trap Lord Ross is bro, I have the same opinion on this as you do. You know what I mean? I don't rate this. I didn't rate that situation either. You know what I mean? But there's going to be people who probably don't watch me, just watching you, and they're going to think that, or haven't watched my video, haven't seen my angle on it, and think that I'm in support, you know, I condone that situation, what happened there, bro, when I really don't.
And tell you, yo, bro, I didn't mean that, but the visual's still up, though, doing all sorts of monetization.
Let's see.
So you would have been the responsibility or the reason for this, bro. Come on, bro. We got to do better. If you're in this content space, think before you speak. I know. And understand that you speak on people, not everybody is going to like what you say. And if you are not built like that, leave it alone. Imagine people just thinking they can disrespect you because they got security with them. People thinking if they see you, they can tell you, yo, bro, I didn't mean that, but the visual's still up, though, doing all sorts of...
Yeah, he makes a good point there with the visuals still up. You know, maybe I could have cut it out. I could have taken the video down. Maybe I could have, but I live in London, bro. I'm not, you know what I mean? I know there's guys out here who ain't trying to do the talking thing, but really and truly, we're talking. You bring up a problem. There's a problem with it. We talk about it. We address it, you know? Maybe it's because since I turned 18 and I started moving up in the world, you know, like, I've not been around people with that mindset. You know, I've not been around people with that mindset. But I hear where Clue's coming from, bro. I'll be interested to see what Clue thinks, given more context to it. What do you guys think? You guys still think you're wrong for that? Thanks. If you do, let me know in the comments below, man. Hey, I'll probably read the comments this time. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love to every single one of you guys watching. Thank you very much.